Yeah, so I'm calling it House of Dragging because this just drags on and on. Compared to the Bronze Biz, compared to Game of Thrones, there just isn't enough material here to keep the thread going, you know? I don't. He confronts his wife so he can kill her so that he can be free to marry again. What is his plot? Do we know? Do you know what he plans to do? I mean, he's not going to marry Rhaenyra. She got married, right? At the end of this episode, so that's not happening. So what is he hoping to achieve at this point by killing his wife? And I guess this is to show us that he is as evil in case we or willing to destroy anyone. In case we thought he was just a bad, like a bad boy, but not really bad. This is to show us he is. He's evil and calculating. I don't know. I don't like the word evil. I don't like the word evil. This was a good scene where he finally tells Alicent what he should have told her. Like, again, this is what annoys me about all these people. They just make miscalculated errors because they just don't want to communicate to each other what's really going on. If this was the problem all along, he should have told her from the beginning that he's definitely violent. Yes. That doesn't make him evil, though. I don't see him as evil. I see him as someone that's been cheated. And so he feels he needs to do whatever he needs to do by any means necessary to survive in Westeros, which, quite frankly, is just a very awful place to live. I'm more partial to Essos, I would think. But I don't really, again, even Essos has slavery and all this other dumb shit. So, but this scene between Otto and Alicent, right? I feel for Alicent. I don't want her to go. I like this actress too. But she's the only person here that's actually a nice person. She's sensible. She puts others first. And her father doesn't even bother. He pimped her out to the king and didn't even bother to share with her what was at stake until he literally gets banished. Right? And then we want to care about telling your daughter what that basically. He's basically telling her, I used you to get our family into the royal line. You have a son that can be king, and that I coerced you to try to convince the king to make him the heir. It blew up in my face with the whole Rhaenyra thing. And now that I'm being banished, you're on your own. And, oh, by the way, she's going to kill you and the kids. So I hope you're happy. Thanks, Dad. That's basically what this is, right? But we have to say that as a hand of the king, he's way better than the guy that took over, right? But we do see later in the episode that Alicent steps up. She seems like she's not afraid, right? In that whole scene later on that we'll get to with the banquet. She steps up to the plate. She's like, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to be strong. What I don't like about the Valerians is that there's no sense of who they are apart from obviously being sea people. You don't get a sense of, this feels very Wuthering Heights, to be honest, right now. These people, you don't get a sense of what Valerian is like. It feels like it's just 4 people locked up in a castle. You don't see attendants or anything like that. Oh, I agree he's less biased. But he just doesn't seem to be in the know the way Otto seems to be in the know, and he has no experience, right? Then we have this guy who's obviously kind of a weasel, but a useful weasel. I think Alicent should have befriended him at this point. She needs friends. And he's basically showing that even though he's lame in the sense of like his foot, right? His foot is twisted or whatever, so he's lame is the terminology for that. He knows what's going on. He's astute. So I would have befriended him. But it's not lost on her. Also, he's the son of the current hand now, so that's really helpful. I like Viserys in this scene. I feel that this was the strongest Viserys has ever been in the entire series so far. For what it's worth. Where he really stands up for something. Also, can we say that this guy's throne looks like crap? I understand it's trying to be a part of a ship. But it's really it could have been done better. It's really botched. Corlys really comes across as a cuck who just does what his wife kind of wants him to do. I don't know. He's very ambiguous. He's a very ambiguously written character. I don't know if it's like that in the books, but definitely in the show, he's not consistent. Are you going to be strong or are you going to be a wuss? What's it going to be? We have these empty platitudes. Also, interesting that he also has like a little miniature. Remember how Viserys has the miniature of what is it, Valyria? And he's got a miniature here, but we don't know of what. Where he's like, are they going to have the name Valerian or are they going to have the name Targaryen? Which is honestly a rude question. And he handles it well. You could tell he's like...
What did you have in mind, Your Grace?
You could tell that he was like...
It's long past...
My theory is that Clubfoot is the one spying behind the walls, and that's why the rats are coming out, because Clubfoot is doing all the spying and making relations rotten. Oh, that could be true. He's such a panderer, like Valerian should come across like he has a strong house in and of himself, and that this is what he was expecting all along, and it's all good now. And poor Viserys is always being questioned by everyone at every turn. It's enraging.
You are not proposing the Targaryen dynasty end with my daughter simply because she is a woman. I only seek clarity, Your Grace.
I mean, in that sense, can we say that Viserys stands up for women's rights?
I do not require it, Chair.
I think if there's one thing about Viserys that we can respect is the fact that he's the only one standing up for his daughter's right to be a queen despite her gender, right? He's the only one.
Just as they did the last.
He does embrace, even though he started out by messing up and killing his wife because he wanted to have a son. He embraced the fact that fate gave him a daughter and that's the best he was going to have, even though he has Aegon. He could have turned his back on her at that point and said, you know what? I have a son now, which is what I always wanted. So yeah, I'm disinheriting you. That's what he probably should have done or would have done, but he didn't. He stood by his daughter and his decision, which I respect that much about Viserys. Again, I feel he was a good person. I just feel he just wasn't a great king and wasn't surrounded by the people that he needed to be surrounded by. So, yeah, that's right. Shut up. So anyway, that's that scene, right? Then we have the scene where basically they strike a deal. You're gay. I have other guys I want to have sex with. Let's make it work. I felt that was fair. But again, it kind of subverts Christian morals, and I think that's why they do it. I think it's interesting, though. The only decision he's firm on is Rhaenyra. Yeah, but that's a good decision to be firm on, even though what he should have done as a good king was ensure that the kingdom was going to embrace that somehow, He should have allied himself appropriately. He should have brought Otto to the fold somehow, and the other lords to embrace the idea, not go against it. And just because now he's leaving it up to her. She's going to be on her own. She's going to be struggling by herself in this situation. So that's where I disagree. You know, I feel like he was weak.
Sarah's just taken to bed.
Right. Here they have a talk where the wife is actually smart, saying we're putting our son in harm's way. Because if they find out he's gay, I mean, it's going to ruin the whole thing. Like, this is setting up for so much tragedy coming up ahead, right? We just know it's going to happen. I honestly lost a little bit of respect for Sir Kristen here. Because, I mean, is he supposed to be 12? He didn't prepare her. Yeah, he didn't. Is he supposed to be 12 years old that he really thought that she wanted to run away with him? I mean, it's such... I don't know. I felt it was unbecoming. A knight who's been through... Supposedly, he's been through so much shit. And one of the things about Game of Thrones that I used to appreciate is the fact that they didn't have delusional people. Someone that's a seasoned warrior shouldn't be this naive about the realities of courts and royals and stuff like that. And she tries. Like, she's really nice, I think. She could have been like a bitch about this whole thing and be like, you're fucking an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. But it's important from the standpoint of the narrative because obviously of what comes later and how it tortures him. I do like that he is trying to be a pure soul. Love the ship. This is last time we commented, right, on how the ships are better than the ships in Rings of Power. And it's because this is HBO biz. HBO's been doing content for over 20 years. Amazon has a lot of money, but they just started. They don't know what they're doing. What did you say? I missed it. Oh, I missed it. Rhaenyra wanted to escape before, like at the beginning. Yeah, that's when they should have done it, right? Maybe at the beginning she would have. Now she's settled in because now she sees that she has capacity to accomplish what she wants to do on her own terms, which is what she wanted. She's trying to find out if it's true that she got pregnant by Daemon, and Kristen reveals that it was him. And I understand that the news is shocking, but what is going on with her? Look at her face. She's like, there's so great acting. There's so much going on. He's doing a confession moment, like as if she was a priest. And what's going on with her? Because she thought it was Daemon, right?
As a clement queen.
Is she worrying about her, like her son, her kid getting killed now?
I would ask only this.
Oh, that's right. She swore her mom that she was a virgin. Oops. Game of Thrones has so many women that suffer tremendously, which is realistic. And now we're at the banquet. This is awesome. This scene stole the show. We could have literally gone straight to this. This was really anticlimactic. This guy comes up to say basically that Daemon killed his girl, his cousin, and he does nothing. He's just a cuck, you know? And it's like, damn. I also did enjoy the dancing and the music, and that they didn't cheapen it, that they kept it consistent with like a medieval style. That was a lot of fun.
Lord of the Top.
This is where Game of Thrones excels in these type of scenes, you know? In my opinion. I don't know where we're going with the Lannisters. You know what's going on? Like they keep teasing us with the Lannisters, but they're kind of like mongrels. We keep them in the back, which is kind of funny to think that they're going to eventually inherit the kingship is almost odious. I do like the costumes in this scene for the most part. I do like the crest on Corlys there. Is that a seahorse? Nice. Everybody looks exquisite. See how much better this is already than like Rings of Power? Just in terms of the costumes, so much more quality. No, everyone else is good. I really like Viserys in this. He looks the best he ever did, even though it's a grand finale for him, right? I mean, this actor grew on me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna miss him. I love how they don't talk. And he's like, all right, get him a chair. It was invented for the show, but the green is the color of the Hightower Lighthouse when there's war. Nice. So she's coming out, and what is she saying then? That she's going to war against Rhaenyra? Against the Targaryens? To defend her children? As the house divides itself? Oh yeah, they're all green. Oh, I didn't even catch that the first time. Look, that must be all the Hightowers, right? Yeah, so clearly she's calling her people to war to defend her should she and her children be attacked at the king's death. Clearly. Yeah, the Hightowers in green. I didn't catch that the first time. Love that dress. It's sexy and classy. I like her headdress better than Rhaenyra's. I like her hair, how it got done. She really has the classic look of like a medieval lady, you know? It's not lost on Rhaenyra that this is trouble. What's going on here? What's Daemon looking at? He's like, oh, I fucked up, missed opportunity for me. Is it because he really likes Rhaenyra? I mean, we know we know he has a thing for her, right? There's a connection there. Laenor looks great. I like him. He's kind of growing on me, but I think he's gonna be broken after, you know. He's like a preppy soft boy. What did you think about that? Like, this guy should have shut his mouth, right? I know that he thought that that going to Kristen was the right thing to do so that they would be on the same page. He read the room wrong. I was disappointed here, honestly. Like, old man, if you're gonna come up and challenge Daemon, then you should die. You should fight him and die.
Men are made to answer for their slanders. Even old props can't.
This part, I mean, I really don't like Daemon in this respect, you know? He could be more graceful in his rejections, in my opinion. You know? He could be more gracious in how he does it, more graceful. I think if he had a little more style to him and not being just such a direct jerk, he would do better. His face. Poor Viserys. So lost. This feels like Witcher music. Yeah, he's not. I mean, I get it. I'm saying that's the only thing I don't like about Daemon. If Daemon had a little bit, yeah, if he had a little bit more grace to him, I would 100% love him. That's the part of him I don't like. I only like 85% like him. I still like him almost better than everybody else, though, because he is the only one with the balls to do what needs to get done. So what is he talking to Lane about? Is this like an alliance?
Well, you flatter me, my prince.
He just basically told her she's ugly. Here's the moment that we feared. This is a moment of transition right here. I love how he doesn't say anything, and you're like, oh my god, he's unhinged. He's just waiting to explode. However, I didn't expect it to happen. But she says she really turned the tables on him here. Like stellar move on her part, you know? And she's basically telling him, like, if you want to talk so much shit, stop putting it on me. I'm the woman in the scenario. Why don't you step up and take me since you're such a tough guy? Way to go. Way to go. You know? Everything falls apart. Very Shakespearean in that sense. He had his moment. He took too long, Damon. He could have stolen her right there and taken her to Dragonstone. I'm glad that it's not over for Chris Puff. I'm glad it's not over for him. Next, he didn't read him correctly. Okay? He didn't read him correctly. That was the problem. He thought he was the same as him, where he's like, okay, you know, I'm her real lover, I'm his real lover, you're her real lover. We have an understanding. And it's like, no, Kristen is melting. He's falling apart. Do you think it was because of the incident that they rushed to do the wedding right now? Because this seems like it was like this was not what they were going to do originally, right?
Strange.
Wait, are they cutting back and forth?
Smith.
He's gonna kill himself, commit harakiri like a samurai.
I got him.
But also because Viserys must know that he's literally dying, right? He's literally not gonna make it.
One soul. Now and forever.
Sir Kristen.
I love how Alicent comes in. Clearly, she's like, I need a help. I need someone who's I can trust, who isn't a piece of shit. He's been the only one that's been honest to her. That's what I think happened here, where Alicent sees this is the only guy that didn't lie to me, so I trust in him, right? But yeah, so there we go. Episode 5, House of Dragging, because there's not much there.